Well, it is Tuesday morning, time for another coffee talk, and I want to introduce you to someone pretty special this week, so hang in there. Okay, so the title for this week is Meeting Miss Corrie. And I have her in the studio with me right now. There she is. She is trying to take a nap right now. So, how old is she now?
1 week.
1 full week?
Well, she was born on a Wednesday.
Tomorrow is Wednesday.
7 days.
Okay.
How do you count that?
I don't know. Is she a week old yet, or is she just... Yeah. But this is our little Miss Corrie, and we are super excited for her.
Yes. She has been such a good baby so far. As far as sleeping well, eating well, being healthy, adorable, being beloved by all of her brothers, and just charming all of us.
Yeah.
Especially her papa.
Yep. She's adorable, but she's sleeping. Miss Corrie, were you going to wake up and say hi to the world?
Let me pull the plug.
Beep, 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 beep. Oh, she has a good latch.
Let's see. You want to say hi? Ooh, maybe. No.
Hi. So little Miss Corrie, this is how many is this? Number 5.
Number 5.
But number 1 girl, and it was almost like a firstborn all over again, having
It totally was.
for some reason the 4 boys together, and then having this one be the first little girl. So I have been absolutely loving having all the little pink and purple clothes to put her in. So it's been adorable.
Yep.
So we just thought we would take a moment and chat about how we come up with names, because the way we choose the names for our children, we've managed to agree pretty well, and we share the work pretty well on how to choose a name.
You want to wake up?
We'll see. We'll see if Miss Corrie can make it through a hole. Oh, there's some little eyeballs.
Can you show eyeballs?
Yeah. Can you show eyeballs?
She's like, I don't know. This is my nap time.
Is this nap time? No, this is coffee time, Miss Corrie. There we go.
We'll see if she wakes up.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, her name is Corrie Elizabeth. And do you want me to share?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we decided to name all of our kids after heroes of the faith.
So believers from the past, not necessarily Bible figures. We talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
But to go ahead and pick people who really seem to know the Lord and were dedicated to serving Him throughout history. So all of our boys are named after heroes of the faith. And when we came to the girls, we were like trying to figure out how to name them, because for the boys we used their first name and their last name as their first and middle. And it wasn't working for the girls very well, because we like the name Corrie from Corrie Ten Boom.
Right.
But Ten Boom made a very unusual middle name for a girl.
Yeah.
So then we liked...
I mean, we could have gone with it. We have a Wilberforce, so we could have had a Ten Boom, but for a little girl, that was a little bit much.
Or we liked the multiple names, and they just were like Lilius Trotter. And Trotter is just an unusual name for a little girl, for a middle name. So we ended up using 2 heroes of the faith for their first and middle. So she's Corrie after Corrie Ten Boom, and then Elizabeth is her middle name after Elizabeth Elliot.
And then because she is Corrie from Corrie Ten Boom, for her Bible verse, we gave her this one. And what we do always is we give them a little, we give them a Bible verse, like a life verse, and they can always choose one later if they need a new one. But we give them one to last them through their baby years until they're old enough to find their own. So in Psalm 32, verse 7, it says, "You are my hiding place. You shall preserve me from trouble. You shall surround me with songs of deliverance." And we thought it was so appropriate that she has hiding place in her name, in her Bible verse, because Corrie, Corrie ten Boom wrote the book, The Hiding Place. So, hey Verl, and I see Hannah's watching, and Uncle Gerald, you're watching. Awesome. Thanks this is the new little one. She's taking a nap through the talk, but I wanted to show you, well actually, did you want to show the baby pictures from when Peter was a little guy?
Sure.
Okay, I have pictures when Peter was a baby. So first of all, let's see, somewhere around here.
And if you're not sure who Corrie ten Boom is or Elizabeth Elliot, definitely look them up. They were really neat people who served the Lord and
Hold on, let me.
were faithful to Him till the end of their lives. And have been a source of encouragement to us. We also have picked people who really, their faith has inspired and encouraged us.
Yeah, so this was the baby picture. Wait, where did it go? Where did it go? Where's Peter Marshall? Here he is. So this is baby Peter, and I think in here we have also, so this was 2012. Here are Mama and Papa. This is right. Was this the same day he was born, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was born this day, and that was, yeah, firstborn son. That was pretty special.
And we named him Peter Marshall. You want to tell him who Peter Marshall was?
So
you kind of picked that name.
Yeah. Well, so the way it works at our house is we discuss how we're going to name our children. So when we went with the theme of Heroes of the Faith, we decided, well, we had different ones. Like at the very beginning, I was like, I'd love to have a Peter Marshall, and Stacy was like, I'd love to have a William Wilberforce, and so we discussed it. And at the time, I hadn't really looked into William Wilberforce that much. I knew who he was, but I didn't know much about him. And so I just kept thinking, Wilberforce is a huge, huge name for a little baby. And so we waited till the fourth child before we used it. But what we decided, and this is our method for choosing baby names, is the two of us will discuss a lot of the different names, and we'll have a list, and we will get to know who the people are we're talking about. And what we were looking for specifically is we were looking for people who had lived for the Lord, had lived a life of intentionality and purpose, who had seen their lives as not their own, but as belonging to the Creator, and had lived accordingly, and had therefore made an impact on folks around them. So,
And one other element, I don't know how to describe it, but there's some people who've made an impact on history who feel more, how do you say it, religious? Where it was like they knew God more with their mind or more with their actions. And we were really looking for people who seemed to have a vibrant relationship that interacted with God on a daily basis.
right.
Where they heard from Him.
Right. We wanted it to be a living faith, something, and practical, something that I could resonate with.
Right.
And so, like with Peter Marshall, well, we need to finish the thought. So we put names
Right.
on the of our list of different names people that we would love to name someone after, and then we've taken turns to finalize and choose the name. So Peter Marshall, that was I chose that one, and then
I got to choose. I chose Eric Little.
and then I chose Hudson Taylor.
And I chose William Wilberforce. He
And
finally let me.
So it was my turn. Well, we didn't officially have William Wilberforce on the list of names
That's
for Peter and
Eric.
But by Hudson, we were like, I think we could. And I was like, but I really, really wanted a Hudson Taylor.
Yeah.
And so then we got William Wilberforce as number 4. But so then with Corrie, it was my turn. And I'm telling you what, it was
so hard.
It was. And I think I can actually show you like our list of different names that I had here. Let's see if I can actually open this.
It was a lot.
Where are they?
It was hard even though we got to choose 2 people. Well, seeing as girls are rare at our family, we didn't know if we would ever get another girl. So it was like, this is the one shot we might ever have. We'll see.
So I don't know how to do this so I don't show all my other notes. That's funny. Okay. Maybe I'll just... So I'm trying to show you all the list of names that we had. And, oh, I have an idea. Here we go. I bet you I can do this so that I can actually show you.
Gonna wake up a little?
Well, no, that's not working either. Okay. Well, maybe it will. I'll go like that. Well, this will work. You'll get to see some of my notes. But here, so this was our baby girl names that we had to choose from. And so we had Lilias Trotter, Catherine Marshall, Corrie ten Boom, Amy Carmichael, Elizabeth Elliott, Sabina Wormbrand, Susanna Wesley, and we even had Louisa May Alcott on the list, Sophia Magdalena Scholl, and I think we had a few others that never actually made it on the list. And so then we put them together in all of these different ways of how we could look at the different names. And so then it was up to me to make a decision. So we kept tentatively calling her, Sabina or Corrie or Catherine or all the different names, Lilias, and we just were trying to figure them out. So we get to the hospital, and I'm thinking, okay, now while we're here, I'm going to look at this list and I'm going to think about it some more. And she was born in like 30 seconds. She was. I mean, I know for you it was a lot longer. You were laboring for days, and so. But like when it was time and we were in the hospital and we were getting there, I didn't ever just like sit down and think and have some time at all. So she's born so fast, and so after she's born and everything, and they're like asking, do you have a name for her? And I was like, well, I'm working on that. And so I'm sitting there on the little rocking chair next to the bed, and I was just looking at it, looking at all the names, and Corrie Elizabeth for several reasons. One, that Corrie ten Boom was a huge influence in my life in the books that she wrote. So my mom found the books, and so it was like In My Father's House, The Hiding Place, and I feel like there was one other book that I had, but In My Father's House especially just talked about the years before the Nazis took over, before the prison camp stuff and all that, the death camp things. It was just what she did with all the girl clubs and the boys and girls clubs and the different things she had done, the way that she and Betsy had served together and just encouraged the church, that was huge. And so it just had a huge impact on me. In fact, one of the reasons why I was pushing for my family to do the character club back in Moulton back in 1998 and 99, 2000s, that time frame, was because of these books. And so it influenced me heavily. And so I really loved the impact that Corrie had, and I loved how much she forgave, and I loved how she was, she was in her, how old was she, in her 60s or 50s when she came out of the...
I think late 50s, right?
Late
That's what
50s.
Which, she's disappointed that she never got married in life. She served the Lord faithfully all of those years, but here she is single and getting older, and you kind of think, she's done her time and this is the end, not knowing that the last 3 decades of her life, or 4 decades, she lived into her 90s, I believe, were going to be the most powerful part of her life. So here she is, considered an old woman when they take them into the concentration camps for hiding Jews. And little did she know that the Lord was like, I am so not done with you yet. And that she's going to have years more of serving the Lord and encouraging and traveling worldwide and speaking and writing books, all because in the middle of that trial, she determined to remain faithful, do what she could to serve the Lord, and not become bitter. She just chose to forgive.
Corrie, there's somebody watching from Netherlands, from Holland. Are you going to say hi? I don't think she wants to say hi. She just wants to sleep.
Corrie reminds me of that quote, I think it's in Lord of the Rings, where they say some people were born great, others achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them. And I think Corrie was that. She had greatness thrust upon her because of her faithfulness to the Lord. Yeah. And we won't all have that. All of us who are faithful to the Lord won't achieve that kind of fame. Right. But it was her faithfulness in all the small things in life, and then when a huge trial happened, remaining faithful from all those years of practicing faithfulness, that caused her to be such a kingdom builder.
Because she couldn't just live her life however she wants to, and then end up in that camp where she lost her sister and stuff, and then come out the other side, and then at that point start having a vibrant faith with Christ.
Right.
She actually needed that faith all the way through, and so the constant endurance in small things, her faithfulness was
Right.
was
It's
huge,
huge.
instrumental, and really that is, the more I live and in Christianity, and the more I interact with people and I see what makes a huge impact on folks, that the daily living and loving and seeking the Lord, that is really,
It's powerful.
yeah.
Has a much greater influence. So that's kind of what we wanted to bless her with, was like, no matter what happens in the future, whether she just continues to make kids clubs and serve the Lord on that level like Corrie did, or whether she goes through some great trial and is faithful to the Lord through that, no matter what it is, that she would be faithful to the Lord and seek his kingdom first and leave that outcome to the Lord of what he chooses to do with that. So,
Yeah, and so back to our, we were talking about Peter Marshall a minute ago. So the way I chose Peter Marshall's name, what was fascinating to me about Peter Marshall was, he had a vibrant faith with the Lord. He was from Scotland. He immigrated here, and then he became a pastor here with the Presbyterian Church. He was a pastor of the same church, actually, that Abraham Lincoln used to go to in Washington, D.C. And so here he is. He's a pastor there. And as a pastor, he marries Catherine Marshall. He dies in his 40s. But the impact that his faith had on her and a lot of other people caused her to want to write about it. And so she wrote a book about it. And again, my mother found this book. She read it. And in some of the other books that Catherine Marshall wrote, really had a huge impact on my mom, helping her learn how to forgive. So this is a common theme. Corrie had forgiveness, had to learn how to forgive. Peter Marshall had to learn how to forgive. And so I just remember at the time, one of the things that struck me was how much Peter Marshall didn't just say, okay, forget the church, forget the body of Christ, they're all doing it wrong, I'm going to come over here and have my own vibrant faith, and do my own thing. But instead, he stuck with the body of Christ, even with the problems that it had, and going to a historic church, and I know in other countries you have a lot older churches than what we have, but like the church there, the Presbyterian Church in Washington, D.C., that one had a lot of history. And so he goes to that historic church. They had a lot of pride in their history and not necessarily a lot of zeal for the Lord. But Peter brought a lot of zeal for the Lord, broke some things, and created some, but it was good. And so his testimony was good out of that. And I just was really challenged with the fact that he didn't abandon the body of Christ to become who he was, but he loved the body of Christ and continued with it. So that was part of my reason for Peter Marshall. And so I named Peter Marshall.
again,
And then,
really neat man. If you haven't heard of him, they have a movie and a book about him.
yeah, A Man Called Peter is
Man
the
Called
book
Peter.
and the movie that his wife
And
wrote
they're
the
very
book.
good. They're
Yeah.
both very good.
Yeah. Okay, and so then you chose the name for Eric Little. I'm going to go find pictures if you want to start talking about Eric.
Yes, Eric Little was his family was missionaries to China, and when he gets to be older for schooling, they send him back to England, and he was extremely athletic, very good, very fast, so he became excellent at rugby, which was so huge there in England, and all of that through his college years. They say he never lost a race. He was very fast, and then they started training to compete in the Olympics. And all of this time, while Eric's doing all of this and competing, he's loving running. But he is planning to be a missionary to China. He loves the Lord. And so as they're training for the Olympics, or as he becomes a star, they're winning rugby teams and everything else, or matches, he's like, okay, I'll use that. If people want to come and hear me speak, I'm going to talk about the Lord. So he totally used it to...
Mm-hmm. So this is a really adorable picture of Peter and baby Eric. I just wanted... So that was the first one.
Right.
So anyway, you chose the name when he was a little guy because of the testimony he had.
Right. And then he's famous for the fact that when they went with the Olympic team to go compete, that he found out the match that he was going to be involved in was on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And he thought that it was wrong to run on Sunday, that day is for the Lord, so he refused to run and received a lot of flack. But he was like not concerned because his goal in life was not to win earthly rewards. He's like, it's really cool. I love running. I think God made me to run, and I enjoy that. But that is not my goal in life. I want to serve the Lord, and winning his well done, thou good and faithful servant meant so much more to him than all the accolades. But they let him run in another race that was not on Sunday, that was twice as long as the one that he had prepared for. And he set a world record in that one and won the gold medal for England. And then after all of that, he still was like, okay, I'm good. I finished my schooling and I'm headed to China now to be a missionary. And there he served the Lord until he died.
Yeah.
So anyway, just a really neat man, again, who just sought the kingdom of God first. And
there's our family all together with when baby William was tiny.
Eric, you mean?
Baby Eric. Baby Eric was tiny, so.
He doesn't look very impressed with life at the moment.
He doesn't. I think I have another. Do we have another?
Oh, my.
Yeah, maybe that picture's a little better. But anyway. So that's baby Eric. So then for the next one, for Hudson Taylor, again, I had read the books about Hudson Taylor a lot, and I just was impacted by his willingness to sacrifice, his willingness to go places. And he had several things in it where he honored his parents while honoring the Lord in such a powerful way, where he allowed the Lord to, the way he said it, he allowed the Lord to go to battle for him. So instead of just dishonoring his parents and stuff, he would seek very carefully, and it was very interesting how he did it. And so I was very impressed by that. I was also very impressed with the fact that when he went to China, he didn't go over there and try to make them become English in his way, but he took on their clothing and their ways and their food.
He grew his hair out, braided it in a ponytail down the back like they were doing at the time.
Shocking.
Ate their food, dressed their way. He said Christianity has nothing to do with wearing English clothes.
Yeah, so that was...
The gospel transcends cultures.
And I think that made maybe a big difference on me, because I just, growing up Amish, all I cared about was clothes. I mean, kind of. And so to come to a place of being like, wait a minute, so it doesn't... Wait, what? Like,
it's not connected.
It kind of hurt my heart my head to even start thinking about that. So then, anyway, I got to name little Hudson Taylor, and I'm looking for his baby picture right now.
2016.
August. Yeah, August of 2016. Let's see, do I have the picture in here? Let's see, over here. Well, here's this was his card that we would send out to everybody. So this was Hudson Taylor Graber, and yeah, we gave him Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. Just an awesome verse. But I have some more pictures here somewhere, so let me see where they went. Oh, here. This is us. Let's see. Which one?
So hard to take a good picture of a newborn.
Here we go. Try this picture of our little family. Right there. So now we have Peter Marshall. He's getting older. We have Eric Little there with an awesome smile. And then there's Hudson Taylor, all wrinkly and red. And there's Mama. You're a good mama. And so that brings us all the way up there to this point. We had 3 boys. And this was actually the first time, once we had 3 boys, I started really feeling like a family, because up until then we would say Joseph and Stacy, and then after a while we'd say Joseph and Stacy and Peter, and it was kind of funny because I didn't feel like we totally came away from Joseph, Stacy, and Peter until we had 3 boys, and then we became a family. Yeah, and so at that point I felt like a papa. I felt like I had a family, and that was awesome. And I was content. I was happy if God would bless us with more children. But I was more or less content at that point on. I felt like, okay, this, and I don't know if it was just...
If we never can have any more, that you felt fulfilled in life.
And I don't know if it was just the statistics that I knew it takes 3 children to actually replace 2 people. I don't know.
You're like, I did my duty to society. We replaced ourselves.
Our birth rate was higher than just replacing ourselves. So anyway, I don't know what it was, but it was just there was such a place of contentment. And so the next,
I was not.
You were not. You were not quite there yet. I hit it. I think a baby before you did.
I don't know that I've hit it yet.
Oh, you haven't hit it yet. You're still. Yes. Well, you
There's
love
still more
babies.
room in my heart.
All right, so then with William Wilberforce, now it's with Stacy's turn. So Stacy, I'll let you talk about it. I'm going to go look for the picture up there. So
Right. So William Wilberforce, who has been a hero of mine ever since watching the movie Amazing Grace. That movie highly impacted me, not only from the content of the story and the message, but also, like, on a deeper level, how I felt when I was done watching it was so inspired to live for God and for the kingdom for all of my life that I was it was the first time I thought I would love to make a movie if it had that kind of an impact in somebody's life, where when they walked away from it, they were like, I want to serve God for all of my life. And even though I wasn't into filmmaking at that point, I would say that was the first opening spark of the power of media to inspire people, the power of stories and movies. And it was very shortly thereafter that the Lord called me into doing filmmaking. So I also give that movie a lot of credit in inspiring me that direction. But William Wilberforce I loved because he was in politics when he becomes a Christian, and then he's thought, well, if I'm a Christian now, maybe I should.
Come over here.
We're talking about you.
You can't get through here. There we go.
He said, now that I'm a Christian, maybe, and I feel like I should serve the Lord, maybe I should become a pastor. And as he prayed about it and he talked to his friends, they said, no, William, God's gifted you in politics, and we need politicians who love God and are going to do what he wants them to do, not just what's politically advantageous or whatever. And so, and of course, they brought to him the slavery issue, the child labor situation that was horrible in England at the time, many other social issues. And William decided to never join one of the parties in England, but to always remain independent, so that he could do what he felt the Lord was doing, not just what his party was doing. But he was very gifted at being a politician and very determined, just doggedly kept those issues in the forefront, thought through them. How can we move forward on these? Anyway, just an amazing man who completely spent his whole life pursuing how can I bring about his laws into my country and save people's lives and impact. I mean, he had a huge impact in bringing about the end of the slave trade in England.
Yeah, so this is we now have William right here, and there's a picture of you when you were a baby right here. Ta-da!
Hey, look at Eric.
Is Eric so silly in that picture?
Yeah, Eric is making a funny face. So there were all of our children up to this point. Well, then I think with our actual family photo with William was, where was that? I thought it was right here. This is baby William. This is the whole family here.
I was having my panda night-night.
You think you had your panda and your night-night? I think you just had your night-night, no panda. And then, so that was when William was a tiny baby. That was our first family photo together. And then I think this was with Mama. We made a video for Mama. So anyway, that we won a prize for. So that was pretty cool. All right, so those are all of our babies. And here's Peter Marshall now joining us too. So we just wanted to take a moment to talk about the names that we have for our babies and how we got to them, and how, we love the fact that they're connected to real people. And one of the other things that when we were choosing names is we were always choosing people that had already passed on. They had finished well, and the years had been kind to them. And so sometimes if someone that we really admire in life passes on, we didn't actually want to name them after them right away. We wanted the years to season the legacy and see what remains. And so that's what we've done. We give each one a little bit of time, and we see what the legacy is. And we've just been very, very blessed with our little family of 5. So you're saying with 5 children, you're still not sure that you feel like you feel like a family, right?
Oh, I feel like a family.
Yeah, you feel like a family. But
That's true.
You would love to have more.
Yes.
You love babies.
I love babies. I actually love kids.
Yes, you do. You do love children.
Babies are necessary for getting kids.
Right. All right. And so then, today, so that's about what we're going to share about our children, but I wanted to mention, because the music that I use as our bumper music was written for us by my friend John Kramer. And so John Kramer put together this music for us. And I also have, let's see, I have his website here. There we go. So his website is johnkramermusic.com. And he's a pianist and a composer, but he has a bunch of albums. And we have several of these music albums. We really enjoy them. We have This Little Child and When Evening Fades. Those were his first two.
Yeah, he has a really good Christmas one. I like it.
This Little Child.
It's very peaceful. His stuff makes good background music.
So, anyway, I just wanted to let you know where it is that I got that music from that I use as my bumper music, opening, closing, John Kramer.
Yeah. And we met him in Living Water Fellowship in Texas.
Yeah.
He's another homeschool family. Lots of boys in that family too, right?
Yes.
And one girl.
Yes.
And they're a really neat family. Anyway, so good friends of ours.
So, johnkramermusic.com. Get some of the albums. We love his music, but he's the one who I got him to make my bumper music that I use for the Coffee Talk. So this was in faith back in 2013, long before I actually started doing the Coffee Talk. I got the music made and was waiting until it was the right time. So
Right.
It's been awesome. So thank you for joining us this time. We are very, very blessed.
Yep.
Corrie slept through her very first Coffee Talk. I'm gonna have to give her more caffeine next time. So
Sounds like it.
We start them early.
relax.
It was a
We
joke.
don't misuse our children.
You wouldn't eat it anyway.
Yeah. So this is our healthy little baby here. Let's see. Can you hold her up a little higher so the camera can see her a little better? There. I'll look down straight
Making
at
all
her.
her little baby
There we
noises.
go. So there is Miss Corrie Elizabeth Graber. She is very loved. Oh. Are those eyes going to open?
Maybe.
Hey, open your eyes, Tiny. Corey. Open your eyes, Corey. You're supposed to do it. It's part of the laws.
All right. Well, blessings all. We will see you.
I bet in no time at all she's going to be popping into live streams to
Yes.
say hi.
She might take this one. He might want to sit in my lap like William does. All right. So we will talk to you all next week. Thank you for joining in.